Machine learning and AI are probably the most popular topics nowadays, particularly in the tech space. And I'm fortunate enough to build and work with these tools every single day as a machine learning engineer. So in this video, I want to break down exactly my journey and give you some advice on how you can become a machine learning engineer as well. Let's get into it. In one of my previous videos, I extensively went over my whole journey into how I became a data scientist. I recommend you check out that video, but I'll summarize the key points here. Pretty much everyone in my family comes from a STEM background. My great-granddad was an engineer, both my grandparents studied physics at university, and my mum's a maths teacher. So fair to say, my path was always kind of paved for me. I personally chose to study physics at university because at the age of 12, I watched The Big Bang Theory and I just found it really interesting, all the things about general relativity, quantum mechanics, etc. At school, I wasn't dumb by any means. I was actually relatively bright, but I just didn't apply myself properly, and so the grades I got wasn't really to my full abilities. I was very arrogant and I thought I'd do really well with doing zero work. A dangerous combination. I applied to top universities to study physics like Oxford and Imperial College. But to be honest, I was being delusional thinking I'll get in, given my work ethic was pretty much non-existent. On results day, I ended up at something called clearing. Now, for those of you who don't know, clearing in the UK is basically where universities who have space on their courses offer them to people who may have missed all their offers or didn't want to apply to university at all. So due to my lack of work ethic, I basically missed all my university offers, and so I had to go through the clearing process. I was fortunate enough to land a space to study physics at the University of Surrey, and that's where I was for the past, that's where I went to do my 4-year masters. And during this time, I kind of upped my work ethic. I realized, it's a cliche, but there is no substitute for hard work, and over across that 4 years, I managed to graduate with a first-class degree, a master's in physics. My original plan was to do the master's and then go on to do a PhD with the end goal of becoming a researcher or professor. Now, over that 4-year period, I did a research year as part of my master's, and to be honest, I didn't really enjoy that year. I found research not quite what I expected. It was all very slow, things didn't really move quickly, and the space just doesn't seem as interesting as it once was. So that kind of put me off my original career plan of becoming a professor or researcher full time. During this time, DeepMind released their AlphaGo documentary on YouTube about how they trained an AI agent to be the best Go player in the world. And after watching that video, I was so fascinated by AI, deep learning, reinforcement learning, that I started just to study and learn more about these topics. And over time, I realized that a data scientist is a person or a job where you implement statistics, machine learning, AI to solve business problems. And after that, I immediately was hell-bent on becoming a data scientist. I spent countless hours coding, doing projects and taking courses, and eventually, after over 300 job applications, I landed my first data science graduate scheme in September 2021. If you want to learn more about my journey and the application processes I went through, then I have a whole podcast which I'll link in the description below for you to check out. I started my career at an insurance company where I built many models, mainly using gradient boosted trees like CatBoost and XGBoost, and also generalized linear models. I built models to predict fraud, risk prices, number of claims, claim severity, basically just a range of classification and regression models on various things. I learned so much in my first job, mainly in the statistics space, because I was working very closely with actuaries, so my maths and statistics knowledge was excellent. However, due to the company's structure and setup, a lot of my models didn't make it past the POC stage. So I was kind of lacking that tech side about how you actually deploy models into production. After about a year at this first company, my previous employer reached out to me asking if I want to apply for a data science position specializing in time series forecasting and optimization problems. I really liked the company, and after a few interviews, I got offered the role. So I worked at my previous company for about 2.5 years, where I slowly became an expert in time series forecasting problems and combinatorial optimization. I developed many algorithms and shipped them to production using AWS, linting, unit testing, CI/CD, shadow testing, monitoring, basically all the software engineering best practices. Fair to say, I learned quite a lot about the tech side. I worked very closely with software engineers, so I picked up all the best ways of going about deployment and productionizing models. I even earned a promotion from junior to mid-level data scientist, and you can learn more about that here. Over time, I realized that the actual value of data science is using it to make life decisions. There's a good quote by Paul Laporta Bojo, who I probably butchered that name really badly. He's a machine learning engineer, and he says, ML models inside Jupyter notebooks have a business value of $0. And this is so true. There's no point of building a model that's really complicated, sophisticated, amazing, you're stacking models, just a really complex structure that performs really well, but it's just stuck in POC stage in a Jupyter notebook because it's not doing anything for the business. Sure, it's impressive. Sure, you can showcase your skills, but you haven't brought in actual value to the business or company. You are much better off building something really simple and that works well, that you can easily deploy to production, because that way you actually bring in financial value. With this in mind, I started thinking exactly where data science is going. And to me, there's kind of two main avenues. The first one is analytics, where you try to get insight into the business and look for the things they should be working on and improving upon the most. The second one is engineering, where you primarily ship solutions like models, decision-making algorithms into production that can actually impact the customers, business, whatever it may be. In my opinion, the data scientist who does analysis and builds POC models will probably become extinct in the next 5 years or so, because like I said, they don't provide any tangible business value. That's not to say that they're entirely useless, they'll just need to transition into one of the two things I just mentioned. But you have to think about all these things from a business perspective. Ideally, you should generate more value to the business than your salary, if we're looking at the brutal truth of it. You want to say that you did X that produced Y, and those two avenues I discussed earlier allow you to do that. Now, personally for me, the engineering side was the most interesting because I like writing code and I love seeing my creation kind of go out there and actually impact the real world. Now, to move over to the ML engineering focused work, I basically just asked my line manager, can I deploy my own algorithms into production? I would get help from other data scientists and software engineers, but I'll be writing all the production code myself, designing the system design, and ultimately deploying everything kind of independently. And that's exactly what I did. I basically became kind of a machine learning engineer, data scientist hybrid in my old role because I was frequently building my own algorithms and then shipping them to production pretty independently. I also took NeCode's data structures and algorithms course to upskill my CS fundamentals, and I was blogging about software engineering principles just to really boost my whole understanding of the engineering process. Coincidentally, around this time, my current employer reached out to me asking if I want to apply for a machine learning engineer role, specializing in general ML and optimization problems. Call it luck, but clearly the universe was telling me something. After several interviews, I was offered the role, and now I'm a fully fledged machine learning engineer. Like I said, I was kind of fortunate that a role kind of fell onto me, but I kind of created my own luck through documenting my learning and upskilling myself in all of these software engineering and ML engineering practices. This is why I tell everyone to document their journey and kind of show their work, because you may not know what may come of it. If I was going to do this whole thing again, I would follow DataCamp's machine learning engineer track, who are kindly sponsoring this video. This comprehensive track assumes you have the basic data science skills and builds on that to teach you the engineering and deployment skills needed to send your models to production. It's 44 hours of interactive content that will teach you things like CI/CD, unit testing, software engineering best practices, containerization, GitHub Actions, and so much more. All of this took me over a year to learn, but you can just get it in 44 hours. The reason why I really recommend DataCamp is their learning experience. DataCamp really makes you learn through short videos and then doing hands-on exercises. The track contains 2 practice projects in MLOps and engineering, so that you can really test out your skills and also show them to potential employers. I highly recommend you check it out, and I'll leave the machine learning engineer track in the description below, as well as the prerequisite course. So now I want to share the main bits of advice that I think really helped me transition from data scientist to machine learning engineer. The first one is experience. Now, in my opinion, machine learning engineer is not an entry-level position. You need to be well versed in so many areas, like software engineering, data science, machine learning, statistics. It's just so many fields. So what I recommend is that you become a data scientist or software engineer for at least a couple of years. That way you can build up skill sets in that area and then self-study the other parts you need to become a machine learning engineer. The second one is that you need to be able to write production code. As a data scientist, you're very good at the maths and theoretical side, but you need to understand how to write well-tested, production-worthy code. So you need to learn things like unit testing, CI/CD, linting, formatters, just everything about writing really good code. The way I recommend you do this is that if you're currently working as a data scientist, is to ask your company if you can work alongside software engineers, and you'll simply learn a lot of things through osmosis. The third thing is that you need to understand the cloud systems and how they work. Nowadays, pretty much every company deploys their models and infrastructure on either AWS, Azure, or GCP. Now, I learned most of my AWS skills on the job, but there are so many certifications out there that you can take that will upskill you to the same level. Fourthly, every tech professional nowadays, in my opinion, should understand how to use a command line, particularly if you're in the engineering aspect. You'll be using Bash and Z shell scripts to execute your models and also send them to production and interact with them locally. So understand the basics, and that's pretty much all you need. Then I would learn some data structures and algorithms. Not because you use them on the job all the time, but because they're really kind of helpful when doing interviews. Because like I said, a machine learning engineer, you'll allow crossover between software engineer and data scientist. So you will be tested on your software engineering skills, and unfortunately, data structures and algorithms are just part of the interview process. Git and GitHub is also another thing that you just must learn as a tech professional, because like I said, it's used throughout the industry. And if you're deploying models, version control is really important, and being able to do code reviews, pull requests, things like that are kind of just like a given if you want to be a machine learning engineer. And finally, what I found that really helped me is having some sort of specialism. So I specialize in time series forecasting, optimization, and like classical ML problems. And this really helps because a lot of the machine learning engineer roles I found are not like general like practitioner, they more have a certain niche. So what I'm in now is very much optimization focused. So if you have some sort of specialism within the machine learning field, that will really help you. You may notice that the main theme here is that I just generally upskill myself on software engineering. Because like I said, I already had the data science skills, math, statistics, machine learning, and I was missing that software engineering aspect. If you're a software engineer, then the reverse would be true. You already have all the software engineering skills, you just need to learn the theory, mathematics, etc. So it's really just understanding where you're lacking and making an effort to improve upon those areas. If you want more data science and machine learning advice like this, then make sure you check out my weekly newsletter, Dish and Data. I send it every Monday morning, and it's all about my thoughts and experiences as a practicing data scientist and machine learning engineer. If that sounds interesting, I'll leave a link in the description below for you to check out.